Hey everybody. Before I get started today, I did want to really quickly model my new digs here. Uh, Apparently some dear friends thought that my Nintendo Swag game was needing a little more help. So big shout out Francesca and Kevin. Thank you so much. These are really, really comfortable. So anyway, with that out of the way, how I feeling today? I'm feeling okay. I napped a ton. This video is going up later than usual because I've been napping a lot today. Just feeling really tired and not necessarily in a bad way, just needing some extra sleep. So, so that's what I got. Had some good drunken noodles today. One of the nurses gave us the rundown of all of the coffee shops in Tampa and coffee roasters, which was cool, I guess. And yeah, that's where I'm at today. This is a day -1. Tomorrow I'll actually be getting my transplant of stem cells, which doesn't actually mark when things will start going back up. I'll still be getting a little bit worse for about a week, and then things should shoot back up as all that gets assimilated. So, but I'm feeling all right now. I did want to tell kind of an important story. How did I find out I had cancer? It's a pretty common question, and I realize that it's not something that I've done yet on these videos. So I'm going to ramble through that story real quick as I ramble through everything. Try and give the full tale as much as I can. So the first thing that happened that should have been a clue that there was something, kind of wrong was I was having pain in my hip bone on my left side. And I didn't really think much of it. I've got a pretty high threshold for pain, so I was just grinning and bearing it and dealing with it for months, for quite some time last year, so in 2016, and didn't really think much of it. No big deal. Having that pain for a while. I did go to a couple of walk-in kind of urgent care places to see if they could figure out what it was, and they would do x-rays. Didn't show anything, couldn't find anything. It felt like it was in the bone, which was really strange. So I didn't really know what was going on with it, but I also wasn't insured at the time, so what else are you going to do? So I just dealt with it like every dude does, right? After that, I don't remember when they started, but I was having episodes where I would kind of get really, really lightheaded and have to sit down, and then I wouldn't be able to move one of my legs very well. I like to call them stroke lights, stroke-ish. They weren't strokes, fortunately, but they were similar, and where I just wasn't able to move very well, wasn't able to speak very well. And they would last for 10 or 15 minutes normally. No big deal. Would just go on with my life afterwards. And that should have been another clue that there was something else, wrong with me. I watched enough House to know that it's never just a whole bunch of different stuff. There's always one thing, because that's where I get my medical knowledge from, is TV, of course. So after that, I had a really bad episode of one of those while I was in the car driving, and I was safe. I was okay. I survived, obviously, but it really freaked me out. And then the last thing that happened that really set things in motion was, oh, I guess I should say, leading up to this point, I had a really, really bad cough for about a week, which was really hard because I worked on the phones. So anyway, I go to work, get to work just fine, no problems. And at one point, I'm looking at my screen and everything just goes blurry. I'm not sure exactly what happened. It was like double vision, blurry. At the time, I was really confused. And I thought to myself, okay, I feel all right. I'm going to go to the bathroom and see if I can see what's wrong with me. And of course, everything was blurry. I couldn't see on my own what was messed up about my eyes, if there was something apparent. So I went back to my desk, turned to my friend Tim, and I said, "Hey Tim, do I look okay?" And if you'll pardon the language, well, I don't want to have to put a profanity filter on. So what he said was, "No, man, you look real left up." And it's because my left eye had gone lazy. It had just was doing its own thing, like over here, while I was facing forward. And yeah, so everybody in the office kind of freaked out for a second, tried to figure out what was wrong. And I just made a bunch of phone calls, got an emergency appointment, an ophthalmologist, because I'm like, oh, I've got an eye problem, not I've got this pain, I've had these mini strokes, I've got this eye problem, I should probably go to a goddamn hospital. No, I went to an ophthalmologist, and he was very nice. He checked out everything that had to do with my eyes, and he said, there's nothing, there's something, obviously some kind of nerve problem there. I can't see what the cause is with my equipment. I'm 98% certain you didn't have a stroke because it was just on one side. And he said, you need to go to a hospital. That's what you should do right now, and have them be able to, they can run all the tests, figure out what the heck is wrong with you. So that's what we did. We drove straight to St. Vincent's. Jen took me down there, and ostensibly, they asked me what I was in for. I was like, my eye's all jacked up. That's what I'm in for. So I went in there for the eyeball thing, not mentioning everything else, because I didn't think anything of it, the stuff that I had been dealing with for some time. And I finally got to a room. It took a little while. It was a Thursday night or something. Anyway, the ER was crowded as heck. So we got back there, and the first person to see me, we're talking about the eye thing, and I kind of brought up the other stuff a little bit, and I was coughing a lot. So he says to me, he's like, how long have you had that cough? I said, a week. So he orders a chest x-ray. And that's really the end of the story. They found it just looked like spider webs all in my lungs. And they didn't know for sure that it was cancer at that time, but they were pretty sure. I actually felt kind of bad for the doctor who came in and told me that I was going to be staying in the hospital, because he came in and he said, I don't think he meant to say cancer, but he basically said, he was like, yeah, this is, normally if we see something like this, it's cancer. So the next few days were just arrays of tests, CT scans, MRIs, an ultrasound of my lower regions to prove that it was testicular cancer, because that's what they expected it to be. That's the classic kind of cancer for an otherwise healthy young man. And found that it had originated there, had spread to my lungs, my lymph nodes, and my liver, which puts it at stage 3, in case you're wondering. And yeah, that's the story of how I found out I had cancer. It's if there's one lesson, it's that if anything weird is happening with your body, like, go to the hospital. Yeah, just go to the daggum hospital. If I had done it earlier, we might have caught this earlier, had the thing removed, and I would have been cancer-free with one operation, possibly, instead of, so far, 3 surgeries, possibly more, 4 rounds of chemo, well, 5 now, and a bone marrow transplant, and 8 months of fighting. So, I don't want to make this a big, gushy lesson or anything, but I hope that everybody does take that to heart. Because I wish I had, or I had somebody to tell me. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. This video is getting a little bit long, so I'm gonna stop it here. I do love you all, and thank you so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. And once again, thanks for the pants for Jessica and Kevin. I love them.